When will I turn away from sins, Ya Rab? When will I, oh Allah, become good, Ya Rab?
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, welcome to our program, Consequences of Drinking. Alcohol is forbidden in Islam, but sadly, the number of Muslims drinking alcohol seems to be going up. At a number of different social events, alcohol is becoming a necessary drink, unfortunately. In this program, we will try to educate ourselves about harms of alcohol so that we can save ourselves from its destruction. Before we begin today's episode, let us learn about the blessings of reciting salawat and salam on the best of creation, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. It is narrated that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam is reported to have said that the person closest to me on the day of judgment will be the one who would have recited salat upon me abundantly in the world. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. In today's episode of Consequences of Drinking, we will learn about Islamic teachings regarding alcohol so that we have the necessary knowledge that will help us to protect ourselves from the evils of alcohol. Let us try to understand that what is alcohol and why has Islam ordered us to refrain from it. On page 671 of Bahar Shariat, volume 3, it is stated, the renowned Islamic scholar Mufti Amjad Ali Azami alayhi rahmatullahi al-Kawi has mentioned that in the Arabic dictionary, the word sharab is referred to something which is consumed for drinking, whereas in terms of Islamic jurisprudence, sharab is referred to something that intoxicates. It has many kinds. One of its kind is called khamr, that is wine which is made up from grapes. It's raw juice of grapes that has been fermented and has gained intensity. According to Imam Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, for becoming wine, frothing in it is necessary. Sometimes all kinds of wines are referred to khamr metaphorically. Imam Hafiz Muhammad bin Ahmad Zahabi rahmatullah alayh has mentioned in his book Kitabul Kabair that every such thing is termed as a khamr that impairs the intellect, whether it is wet or dry, eaten or drunk. So why is sharab known as khamr? Sayyidina Imam Abu Abbas Ahmad Shafi'i alayhi rahmatullahi al-Kawi has mentioned in his book that the reason of calling it khamr is that it conceals the intellectual abilities. The scarf of a woman is known as khimar for the same reason, because it hides her face. Similarly, a person who hides his witness is called khamir. Alcohol is also known as khamr because it is kept covered until fermentation takes place. The following words of hadith indicate similar word origin, khammiru aniyatakum, that cover your utensils. According to few lexicographers, the reason of calling it khamr is that it upsets the intellectual abilities. An Arabic proverb is also derived from the same root, khamarahu da'un, meaning that disease has upset him. So what is the ruling on alcohol? Sayyidina Imam Nu'aym Ahmad bin Abdullah Asfahani, Quddisa Sirrahul Nurani, has quoted in Hilyatul Awliya that once fermented nabidh contained in a pitcher was brought in the blessed court of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. He sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam said, throw it against the wall because it is a beverage for one who does not believe in Allah Azza wa Jal and in the Day of Judgment. The merciful Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has stated that every intoxicant is wine and every intoxicant is haram. It is mentioned in a hadith that the blessed Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has said that every intoxicant is wine and every wine is haram. Dear Islamic brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, as it is haram to drink alcohol, its trading and earnings are also haram. The Prophet of Rahmah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has said, the alcohol and its value, meaning earnings, carry on and earnings from it, the swine and the earnings from it have been declared haram by Allah Azza wa Jal. In one of the hadiths, the beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam stated that when Allah Azza wa Jal declared eating of fat of kidneys, intestine and stomach haram for Jews, they sold it and consumed earnings from it. So when Allah Azza wa Jal declares anything haram for some nation, He Azza wa Jal also declares earnings from it haram as well. The merciful Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has stated that anything that causes intoxication when consumed in more quantity is also haram in small quantity. Some people, ma'azallah, who drink alcohol in small quantities, they try to justify their drinking that they don't drink it to an extent that intoxicates. However, in this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ has given us a very beautiful Madani pearl. Anything that causes intoxication when consumed in more quantity is also haram in small quantity. The most beloved Prophet ﷺ has stated that if a farq, this is a unit of weight, of something can cause intoxication, a handful of it is also haram. On page 672 of Bahar-e-Shariat volume 3, it is stated, the renowned Islamic scholar Mufti Amjad Ali Azami alayhi rahmatullahi al-Kawi has mentioned that khamr is in itself absolutely haram. Its prohibition is proven from nas-e qat'i, and there is a consensus of the ummah on alcohol being haram. Its use, whether more or less in quantity, is haram. It is impure just like urine. Its impurity is categorized as a nijasat-e ghaliza, meaning that it is a major impurity. Whoever claims alcohol to be halal, he is a disbeliever because he has denied nas-e Qurani, meaning a Quranic injunction. Alcohol is not mutaqawwim, liable for compensation to a Muslim, meaning that if someone wastes a Muslim's alcohol, he will not be liable to pay recompense. It is not permissible to buy it or to obtain any sort of benefit from alcohol, and it is not permissible to use it as a medicine. It is not permissible to make some animal drink alcohol, nor is it allowed for soaking the clay, and it is not permissible to use it in preparation of suppository. Suppository is a type of medication. Some viewers of Madani Channel who may have their businesses, restaurants, shops, and they sell alcohol, they should take heed from these fiqhi rules, these rules of Islamic jurisprudence, and they should try to reflect and ponder and try to change their practice and remove alcohol from their business, shop, restaurant, and so forth. It is also impermissible to use it in treatment of the wounds of animals. So it's not just prohibited for humans, but animals as well. The juice of grapes that has been cooked until less than 2/3 is evaporated, meaning that more than 1/3 is left, and if it is intoxicant, it is also haram and impure. Mullah Ahmad Jivan Hanfi rahmatullah alayh has quoted the following 8 rulings regarding khamr in Tafsirat-e Ahmadiyya. The first ruling that Mullah Ahmad Jivan Hanfi rahmatullah alayhi writes, khamr, alcohol, is haram li'aynihi. its prohibition is not linked with intoxication. And it is not haram for the reason of intoxication. According to some people, intoxication caused by it is haram because this prevents from the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal and from offering salah. Mullah Jivan Rahmatullah says that it should be noted the aforementioned belief is kufr because it is a denial of an injunction of the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal has declared it as rijs, impure, and rijs is always haram li'aynihi. There is consensus of the ummah on this ruling, and same is also proven from the Sunnah. Therefore, khamr, alcohol, is haram li'aynihi. The second thing that Mullah Jivan Rahmatullah alayh, he writes that the khamr is nijasat ghaliza, that it is a major impurity just like urine, and is proven as such by absolute injunctions. Number 3, sharab or khamr is of no value for Muslims. If someone destroys or takes over a Muslim's alcohol, he will not be liable to pay any compensation. Its trading is not allowed because Allah Azza wa Jalla has declared it impure to discredit alcohol. Number 4, it is haram to obtain any sort of benefit from khamr, alcohol, because it is najis. It is haram to obtain benefit from impure things, and Allah Azza wa Jal has also ordered us to refrain from it. The 5th ruling that Mullah Jivan Rahmatullah writes in his book, that it is kufr to consider khamr as halal, as it would be refusal of an absolute injunction of the glorious Quran. The ruling number 6 that he writes, a had, this is a form of an Islamic punishment, will be given out to the one found guilty of drinking alcohol, even if he has not suffered intoxication. Number 7, that once khamr is prepared, it does not change its composition upon further cooking, that is, it remains haram. Number 8, however, according to the Hanafi school of thought, it is permissible to convert khamr into vinegar. Alama Shami Rahmatullah alayh, he has given 10 proofs of alcohol being impermissible. Let us listen to his proofs of impermissibility of alcohol. Number 1, alcohol has been mentioned along with gambling, idols, and aerobating, which is a kind of gambling as well, and these are all haram. Number 2, alcohol was declared as impure, and impure things are always haram. Number 3, alcohol has been declared satanic act, and satanic acts are all haram. Number 4, it has been ordered to refrain from alcohol. It is haram to commit any act refraining from which has been declared fard, meaning obligation. Number 5, salvation was made conditional with refraining from alcohol. Hence it became fard to refrain from alcohol, and its consumption became haram. Number 6, Satan causes hostility among people by virtue of alcohol, and hostility is haram. The cause of a haram thing is also haram. Number 7, Satan causes hatred amongst people by virtue of alcohol, and hatred is haram. Number 8, Satan prevents one from the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal through alcohol, and to prevent from the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal is haram. Number 9, Satan prevents one from offering salah through alcohol, and anything that prevents from offering salah is haram. And number 10, Allah Azza wa Jal has ordered us to refrain from alcohol in an interrogative way, meaning that are you not going to refrain from it? That is a translation of a verse from the Holy Quran. This also shows the impermissibility of alcohol. When did alcohol become impermissible? Now, this is a very interesting narrative, because alcohol became impermissible in a stepwise fashion. So let us listen to this. Alama Sayyid Muhammad Na'imuddin Muradabadi alayhi rahmatullahi al-Hadi has mentioned in Khazainul Irfan that alcohol became haram in 3rd year after the migration of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Makkatul Mukarramah to Madinatul Munawwara, known as after Hijrah. And this was few days after the battle of Ahzab. Before the advent of Islam, meaning that in the previous prophets and the ummahs of the previous prophets, alcohol was not forbidden. There was a fully established tradition of drinking alcohol. It was not considered as an evil drink in social as well as religious perspective. Therefore, many people, they were habitual of drinking alcohol. Islam unfolded the harms of alcohol in stepwise fashion and finally ordered its abandonment. It is mentioned, Islamic scholars have stated that there are 4 verses in the Holy Quran regarding the prohibition of alcohol. Allah Azza wa Jal states in the Holy Quran, translation, and from the fruits of date and grapes, for you make juices and good nourishment from them. Indeed, in this is a sign for people of intellect. After the revelation of this verse, Muslims, they continued to drink alcohol because it was still permissible. And there was no direct order by Allah Azza wa Jal to stop drinking alcohol. Companions like Sayyidina Umar Farooq Azam and Sayyidina Muaz radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma requested in the court of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam that may Allah Azza wa Jal pass a verdict regarding alcohol because it impairs the intellect and it is a cause of wasting money. As a result, Allah Azza wa Jal imposed the following commandment. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Yas'alunaka 'anil khamri wal maisir qul fihima ithmun kabirun wa manafi'u lin-nas wa ithmuhuma akbaru min naf'ihima. Translation: that they ask you the decree regarding wine and gambling. Say, O beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala wasallam, in both lies great sin and also some worldly benefit for people, and their sin is greater than their benefit. The most beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam said that undoubtedly Allah Azza wa Jal is drawing our attention towards prohibition of alcohol. Therefore, if anyone possesses alcohol, he must sell it out. Again, there was no clear order from Allah Azza wa Jal for prohibition. Some Muslims, they abandoned alcohol because of this part of the verse where it says ithmun kabir, that it is major sin. But a few Muslims, they continued to drink alcohol because of the description in the Quran, the manafi'u lin-nas, that there are some worldly benefits in it. Forward and led the Maghrib prayer. He committed a mistake in reciting these verses of the Holy Quran. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ لَا أَعْبُدُ مَا تَعْبُدُونَ. He recited أَعْبُدُ instead of لَا أَعْبُدُ, meaning that he left the word La before أَعْبُدُ. Consequently, Allah Azza wa Jal revealed the following verse from the Holy Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى حتى تعلموا ما تقولون. Translation: that O people who believe, do not approach the salah when you are intoxicated until you have enough sense to understand what you say. Now, so far, Allah Azza wa Jal has revealed 3 verses in a stepwise fashion about alcohol. In the first verse, Allah Azza wa Jal mentioning about the juice from the grapes and so forth, and signs in it for the intellectual people. Then Allah Azza wa Jal mentioning that there are some benefits, but the harm of this is greater than the benefits. And then Allah Azza wa Jal is giving the 3rd order: don't approach salah when you are intoxicated. Thus, intoxicants were declared haram during salah times. After revelation of this verse, some Muslims, they considered it as haram upon them and said that there is no goodness in such a substance that becomes an obstacle between us and salah. And some used to abandon it during salah time. Some people would drink it after Isha salah so that they could sober up before Fajr salah, and some would drink after Fajr in order to regain senses before Zuhr salah. Sayyidina Umar Farooq Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he prayed in the court of Allah Azza wa Jal and requested that, O Allah Azza wa Jal, bestow us with an explicit injunction regarding alcohol. Allah Azza wa Jal, He revealed the following commandment. Translation: that, O people who believe, wine and gambling and idols and the darts are impure, the works of shaitan, therefore keep avoiding them so that you may succeed. The devil only seeks to instill hatred and enmity between you with wine and gambling, and to prevent you from the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal and from prayer. So have you desisted? This order was revealed after the battle of Ahzab, and Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, O Allah Azza wa Jal, we have refrained. So this was a clear and concise prohibition of alcohol. So what was the wisdom behind this stepwise revelation of prohibition of alcohol? Sayyidina Imam Fakhruddin Razi rahmatullah alayh has reported the wisdom in the stepwise prohibition of alcohol was that Allah Azza wa Jal knew that these people, they are very fond of alcohol. Alcohol has been running through generations, and they are obviously habitual to drinking alcohol. And also people earn huge profit from the selling of alcohol. So if alcohol was prohibited at once by a single commandment, it would have been difficult for them to follow this order. Therefore, being kind to them, the prohibitions of alcohol was laid in steps. My dear Islam brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, the Muslims at that time who were habitual of drinking alcohol, when they realized that alcohol causes the displeasure of Allah Azza wa Jal and His beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they instantly discarded alcohol. They removed this habit of drinking alcohol. They discharged it away in streets, and for many days the odor of alcohol could be smelt from the surroundings, but no one dared to drink it. According to one narration, the beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he ordered to collect all the stocks of alcohol from the people of Medina at one place and drained it away with his own blessed hands. Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu quoted that one day I was present in the blessed court of the merciful Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Suddenly he Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that whoever has any amount of alcohol available with him should bring it to me. Upon listening to this order, all the companions, they departed towards their homes without any delay. They brought all their stocks of alcohol. Some brought vessels, whilst others fetched containers of alcohol. And when everyone had brought what they had, he Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, place all of this alcohol in the field of Baqi and let me know when this is done. The order was obeyed instantly, and when the beloved Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam started walking towards Jannatul Baqi, Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar says, I also joined the Prophet Sallallahu Ta'ala Alaihi Wasallam. Amir al-Mu'mineen Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala, he met us on the way. The beloved Rasul Sallallahu Ta'ala Wasallam brought him to his right side, and I came to the left. And after some time, Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala also met us on the way. The Prophet of Allah Sallallahu Ta'ala Wasallam took him to his left side, and I was asked to go behind. We all reached where the alcohol was placed. He Sallallahu Ta'ala Wasallam asked the people, do you all know what this is? They all replied, yes, O Prophet Sallallahu Ta'ala Wasallam, we know that this is alcohol. He Sallallahu Ta'ala Wasallam said, you have spoken the truth. But remember, concerning alcohol, Allah Azza wa Jal has cursed the one who extracts it, the one whom it is extracted for, the one who drinks it, the one who serves it, the one who brings it, the one whom it is brought for, the one who sells and buys it, and all those who eat from its earnings. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam then asked for a knife to be brought and ordered it to be sharpened. When it was sharpened, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam started to slit the leather containers of alcohol. People humbly asked, the Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if only the alcohol is disposed of and the containers are not slit so that they can be reused later. Look at what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, I also know this very well, but I am doing this to avoid the anger of Allah Azza wa Jal, because I fear that there may be risk of the displeasure of Allah Azza wa Jal even in benefiting from these containers. Allahu Akbar. When Sayyidina Umar Farooq Azam radiyallahu ta'ala saw the resentment of the noble Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam, he radiyallahu ta'ala requested, O Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam, please order me. I can easily do that. But he sallallahu ta'ala wasallam said, no, I will do this myself. The act of the most blessed Rasul sallallahu ta'ala wasallam, slitting the leather containers with his own blessed hands, was to show the intense resentment that he sallallahu ta'ala wasallam had for alcohol. Even upon the request of Sayyidina Umar Farooq Azam radiyallahu ta'ala, he sallallahu ta'ala wasallam did not assign that task to him. Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiyallahu ta'ala has mentioned that when alcohol was prohibited, there was nothing more lavish for the people of Arabia than alcohol in those times. And there was no commandment so hard for them than the prohibition of alcohol. My dearest brothers and viewers of Madani Channel, may our lives be sacrificed on the blessed companions radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, that as soon as they came to know that drinking the alcohol results in displeasure of Allah Azza wa Jal and His Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, they meticulously refrained from it. This is a characteristic and specialty of believers of Islam, that they do not even glance at such things which have been prohibited by the beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, due to their firm belief that every commandment of Allah Azza wa Jal and His Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam carries blessings and benefit for them. Inshallah Azza wa Jal, we will be back again with another episode of Consequences of Drinking. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu.
When will I turn away from sins, Ya Rab? When will I, oh Allah, become good, Ya